Dearest, gentle listeners, you are listening to the Ladies Bridgerton, the talk of the town. We are your effervescent hosts, your neighbourhood-friendly Kiwi, Tash from Middle-earth, New Zealand.
And Patty, romance currently writing her strong, confident, intelligent, and dependable era. I'm also in my BFF era right now.
I was going to say Patty is in her sorrows, prayers era, but maybe with a little less condescension.
Yeah, sorrows, prayers era. Being the best friend I can be. Which I'll get into after.
Settle down onto your favourite settee as we delve into the lives of the elite and illustrious ladies, lords, and royalty of the ton. This Bridgerton podcast is two friends talking romance, symbolism, Easter eggs, and deep sorrows, diving into the connections of our favourite characters. We cover both book, TV series, and notable social media, and therefore will contain spoilers.
Dearest listeners, we are still at the engagement. I'm just going to repeat the intro from last time because it's all still true. So this is part 2. We see Kate's insecurities, but also all of the reasons she is Antony's perfect Viscountess. We see Portia draw attention away from Penelope to herself many times 10. We see Cressida crashing, much to Chaos Colin's karmic delight. Lady D and Violet prove to be wizards. We talked about that last, but it's true. And when we get to Lord Anderson and Alice, they prove to be wizards as well.
I got some notes on them this week.
Yeah, and Gregory grew up overnight. This soiree is an episode of Melrose Place or Real Housewives of Mayfair, or it reminds me of like
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, like it's a mad world, an ensemble comedy.
Yes.
It's definitely deliciously messy, and we're gonna get down in the mud with Colin and Penn, and we're gonna watch Antony and Kate reminisce about the same mud pen.
Are you really in love if you can't throw mud at each other?
Right. Them Bridgertons don't fall in love unless they're ass in the mud.
I was definitely in
Benedict
the mud.
Benedict is in a lake.
I was definitely in the mud yesterday, but quite literally when our jet skis got bogged down and we had to walk out to them and try to push them out of the mud and into water where we could turn them on to be able to escape. And let me tell you, the feeling of clay-like muddy goop squidging between your toes. To say that I was in a bad mood by the end of the day is an understatement, because that feeling was the grossest feeling I think I've ever experienced.
I got the 13-minute am I the asshole message.
I think I would prefer go through labor again than have the feeling of that squidging between my toes. Honestly.
I feel you. So I'm gonna do a little downer moment, I guess. A little moment of sorrows, prayers. I'm sure I've mentioned this at some point in the pod about my best friend's daughter, but she officially passed away Friday the 7th from Ewing sarcoma. She was only 24. So my PSA for the week is hug your babies.
She had
always
two 18-month-old babies that she's leaving behind.
Yeah, hug your babies. Say I love you whenever you feel like saying it. And just live and enjoy every single, because they knew she would pass. They knew this cancer was going to take her. It has a very low survival rate, but they were estimating months to years. She was in treatment to be able to stay alive long enough for her kids to remember her. That was the prognosis. But of course, in true Kelsey fashion, she is, to best describe her personality, she's Prudence Featherington. She's kind of abrasive. My best friend says her daughter came out balls to the wall. She did. She came in this world like a lion. She did not wait for drugs. She did not barely waited for the doctor. And she just lived her life like out loud. If she felt hurt and she had big feelings, everybody knew it.
And I think to tack onto this one, Patty, is if you have something medically that you are aware of in your body and you are worried about it, but you don't want to go to the doctors, go to the doctors, because if you wait, there is then nothing that you can do. It's scary, but the sooner you get things checked out, the sooner you can start working on it, if it's a thing.
Yeah, she fell like 2019, I think, or 2020, and she got a bruise. And when the bruise was gone and went away, she still had a lump on her leg, and it just got bigger, but she wasn't going to the doctor because she didn't have insurance, and it turned out to be Ewing sarcoma, cancer. But just like I said, like Kelsey can't do anything half-assed. So she's the first person her oncologist has ever heard of, or any of his peers, because he did peer-to-peer reviews to see if anyone else had ever seen it. Mm-hmm. She's the first Ewing sarcoma patient he's ever had where it metastasized in the brain. So she is going to
she just had to be number one.
She donated her body so that they could study it, so that they could learn more about her cancer, to hopefully help somebody, save a life in the future. So
have someone else's kid.
I want everybody just take a moment and think of my best friend who, the worst thing in the world, a mother having one of their children. I'm traveling down there, so by the time you guys hear this, I'll be back safe. But it's starting to be snowy here, and I'm driving by myself. Like, everybody just.
How many hours is that drive?
Like 8. The stop. It's about 8.
I'm sure between all of us, we can keep you company on your drive.
Oh, I'll probably be listening to our podcast for quality and assurance purposes, for sure. And so if you've noticed any days in the last month or so where there's been missed shorts, like, whoa, there's no shorts today. That's part of the reason why I've been, trying to keep up, but it's been a little difficult.
Life is a little bit much at the moment.
Yeah, life is a bit much.
Bit muchy. And for once in my life, I actually got 2 podcast episodes edited in 1 week and got them uploaded. Well, like scheduled for upload, shall I say. So, and I think that's just life, is where one is going through it, the other one picks up the slack and vice versa.
Yeah, and I'm really blessed. Like, anybody who heard the pod that dropped this week, Di made me cry. But
what an awful person.
I'm so blessed, like, that people are wanting to help me, with this little dream we have. And the people who have rallied around me this week so that I could get down there to her. My sister gave me her weekly church tithe to cover my gas back and forth. My 2 new kids, Teresa, my best friend up here, and Christy, that I go to New Kids with, they're both covering dog duty one day. My niece is coming to let my dogs out. My neighbor's doing a couple of days, so my dogs are taken care of. My friend Leah is making the tribute video with all the pictures and adding songs to it for us to have at the memorial. Like, everyone's just rallying around me, and I'm so blessed and grateful. And I just publicly that I love everybody. And Tosh, like I said, Kelsey passed away, and like I don't even think I hit send, and she's calling me.
I was on the beach, like checking the time on my phone, and I was like, oh, Patty.
Yeah. And I just realized just now I did not say it in Tangent Queen. So I'm giving a formal apologies to Kay, that as of this moment, Kay doesn't know.
Oh, no.
Oh, I mean, it's a sad thing. So I hope it's a good thing. Like, she doesn't be mad at me for not telling her, but I kept sad news from her, like, because she would be sad for me. And I've been trying to tell everybody.
It hurts to tell everyone, because then you have to relive the feeling for time.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, everybody just close your eyes and think of I'll say last names, but Kelsey, Carol Snow, they're going to be learning a new.
Yeah. Let's jump into us eating our feelings.
We are eating our feelings today.
We are absolutely eating our feelings today. So, Patty.
I've been eating my feelings for 3 days. Hold on.
Popcorn, pickles, pretzels, Cheetos, salsa, guac, rice, taquitos. I'm just stating facts. If you love snacks.
Yes, I have been loving myself with snacks the last few days. I am currently eating, I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's like Osaka ramen from my favorite local ramen restaurant.
Yep. Like, Osaka ramen is a delicacy, specifically to that one region.
Yeah, and it's the spicy version with extra bok choy, because I love it. But this is also the place, like, if anybody's seen my TikTok where I'm just eating chicken wings, watching the carriage scene, it's where I get my Korean barbecue wings at.
Yeah,
so, that's my snack.
It's a tonkotsu, right?
Mm-hmm. All I know is it's good. I'll tell you in a second. Let me look it
up. A pork bone, right?
It's pork, yeah.
Yeah, it's a pork bone infused with like a savory shoyu, like a soy sauce. Like it's quite a brothy, rich flavor.
It's Osaka ramen.
Like certain areas make
it's-
their ramen quite differently. So you can't just say like if someone's like, oh, I'm eating ramen, like that doesn't necessarily describe. There's so many
Right.
different types of ramen.
Well, and this is the actual, it is spicy pork, bok choy, corn, Naruto maki, egg, Korean chilies. That's those little red that are like
Yeah.
fried garlic. I love garlic. Black garlic oil, sesame seeds, scallions, nori, spicy miso.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so it's a miso braised.
And
yeah.
I get extra spinach and extra bok choy because that's where
I always go extra bok choy. It's so good. I was eating, I say was because we chit-chatted for so long because we had big fuels to get out today. Popcorners, which is like a cheddar cheese little popcorn. The ones shaped like a chip, but it's popcorn.
Yeah.
So good. So good. I love them.
Yeah,
and I've also
are really good.
I'm also hitting up today my Aussie classics. Di and Sarah will appreciate this one. It's a Bundaberg passion fruit, which is like our biggest, like probably one of our biggest drink companies in Aussie.
And possibly Ruth. Ruth, we were trying to figure out where you're from, dude.
Not that we were, not that we were stalking or anything. I know that you're one side of me, whether the Aussie or Kiwi side. I just can't figure out which half. But yeah.
So the sponsors of Pod Snacks are those who are donating to the Buy Me a Coffee Get Patty to New Zealand Fund,
so that she can come have Bundabergs with me.
Yeah, because whatever that drink is doesn't.
It is good.
So sponsors are Susan, Di, Anne, Maria twice now, Marianne, Val, Sarah, and Ruth. Thank you very much. We are now currently at
I love that Di is to the power of
$248.
That's amazing. I love that we are that Di is to the power of 2 as well because it reminds me of a dice. Die the dice.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're at $248. The ticket has been fluctuating between $1,204 and $1,550. We're hoping to have the funds by Black Friday because I think Black Friday will have the so yeah. Thank you for I mean, you didn't pay for my ramen, but you're sponsoring it today. Thank you.
Now we must make haste into today's episode. I sent Patty just how long my notes are. My notes today are 1,400 words for about a 5-minute clip. Like that is
Tosh did the hard yards because, and I've said this before about my job, like the part of my job that I do, nobody else likes or wants to do it. So I'm the only one who knows how to do it. So for me to get bereavement for this week to go down to basically my niece, it's my best friend's daughter. I was at her birth, so she's my niece.
Yeah.
To go down to her memorial this week, I had to do 10 days of my job and I don't normally work Sundays, but when our Sunday person takes off, they'll put somebody on Sunday. Like she and I switch next week. And my boss got it messed up and she switched us 2 weeks in a row. So we actually both clocked in today. And I'm like, no, I need to work today. She goes, that's fine. I'll work a little bit to make it worth my while, but I will cover your Friday because I told her what was happening. Mm-hmm. So she's going to cover my Friday. She clocked out. I worked today. I did 10 days of my job in 1 8-hour shift today. So I could go on bereavement and nobody would have to do anything super extra. So today was crazy and I never got to watch. I mean, have I seen the engagement party a bazillion times? I have. But thank you, Tosh, for writing 1,400 of notes.
It would have been more, but I put my phone down to close my eyes because they were hurting. Because as Patty said, live your life to the fullest. That is absolutely what I've been doing at the moment. Last weekend, we went camping at Hamina Springs with our homestay and her best friend, and obviously our little boy as well. And we went on walks. We took, I don't know what they're called, but the bikes that is like a 4-seater bike, and you kind of like
tandem bike.
But it's for 4 seats. Tandem is just 2, isn't it?
It can be any number of seats. Well, it's just tandem, you're riding it tandem style. Yeah. Multiple people are doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had one of those bikes and we like rode around the town. We took them to the hot pools, which is kind of like a theme park made out of like probably 15, 20 hot pools, plus like swimming pool areas and water slides and all those kinds of things.
Nature's so hot tubs? You're taking me there, right?
Oh, hell yeah. Because most of the things that I do in New Zealand require a substantial amount of walking, whereas Hamner is just a cute little town that's like a 10 minutes you can walk the whole thing, and hot pools. So I was like, that's Patty's paradise. Patty's paradise. So that was last weekend, and then this weekend
we're gonna be like, we're recording the pod from this nature's hot tub right now.
we're in the hot pools. Oh, we dropped it in the water. And then this weekend we did the beach. We went and had a picnic at the quarry. And then the next day, we got up nice and early. We picked up the company jet skis and took them over to a nearby island, which used to be a leprosy colony. We spent a couple of hours hiking around it, playing with the jet skis, playing cards, having picnics, and living our best life.
Avoiding leprosy.
Avoiding leprosy. Yeah, I was like, one of the girls, because obviously English being their second language, I was like, do you know what leprosy is? Not to be confused with leprechauns.
Leprosy is making a comeback in the U.S.
Oh,
yes, yeah.
Love that for you. Speaking of lepers, I mean, we're not up to Cressida yet, but let's jump into Kate, Lady Arnold, and Benedict.
Social lepers, social leper.
Well, because I had to explain to the girls that that's where the insult, like, if someone called you a leper back in the day, it didn't mean you had leprosy. It was just an insult that derived from the disease to say,
because nobody wants to be around you.
No one wants to be around you. And then I had to show them pictures of what it looked like, and they were like, that looks like it hurts. And I'm like, that's a mild statement.
Yeah, it's very painful. Leprosy is very painful.
Mm-hmm. So we jump in at the scene. I don't remember what the timestamp is. I'm sorry. I was super, super tired. Like, I literally was writing notes. I was up to the next section. I'm like, I'm just going to close my eyes. We were on the jet skis. They got absolutely soaked with salt water. They were hurting. I was like, I'll just close them. And then I woke up at 2 a.m. with my phone on my face. And I was like,
okay, I need to like translate for you there because you jumped ADHD style. So she closed her eyes to rest them because there was salt in them because of the jet skis earlier. She didn't fall asleep on the jet ski.
I mean, I wish I could have, but we were in such deep swells that I was just about to pass out from stress. Oh,
right.
Yeah. Don't go hiking through an island and leave the jet skis. We took them out 2 meters deeper than what we thought we needed, and they still got beached. And so then by the time that we were able to get them unstuck and leave the island, the waters were not our friends, and it was very, very stressful.
So yeah.
It was a whole time.
I don't know why they've never put those red things on my score.
Not a fan.
I'll be getting that. No. It just, every time I get one, I feel like it's a hair in my soup.
Sometimes
sensory issues.
Sometimes mung beans have like a tail on them, and they do that to me too, but I love mung beans, so I tolerate. All right, Kate, Lady Arnold, and Benedict. So we are jumping in at Kate approaching Benedict. Kate is just a fantastic hostess, by the way. She works her way around that room. And I thought it was actually quite interesting to look around at like who in the ton was invited, because obviously we have our inner circle, but then we have a bunch of old people who I just do not know. A lot of old people, and I mean old.
Well, and here's the thing, and I don't know if anyone else clocked this, since we are talking about Kate approaching Benedict and Tilley. If you go through the whole engagement party, the only person that approaches Benedict and Tilley ever is Kate.
Which I was
Violet
actually kind of
steers clear.
Yes.
Danbury steers clear. Benedict brings home a woman for the first time ever.
I cannot believe that out of everyone, Lady Danbury steered clear, because she's the nosiest bitch of them all. And I say that with absolute
not
love.
even just that, but Will and Alice. He was there for Will and Alice when they came out into society for the first time, and he showed them the ropes, and he was there for them to lead them through. And he brings a lady friend to this party, and they didn't even you only see him talking to Anthony and Colin prior to Lady Tilley showing up.
Colin and Anthony, I can understand, because Colin is busy meeting and greeting with everyone else. That he's like, I don't have to worry about my siblings. This is their household.
Golden retrieving for Pen. Like, as soon as Pen shows up, he's up her rear.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, that's justified. Anthony, I can see leaving Benedict alone because he knows what his brother is like and knows that he'll do his own thing. And if he wants to introduce her, he will. But I'm not going to put pressure on that because I know what it's like to date a woman outside of the ton or outside of the rules of the ton. I'm going to let him do his own thing. But his mum is a nosy bitch. And we know this because of one of the next scenes that we have with Lord John and Fran. We know this about Violet. So I cannot believe that Violet and Lady Danbury, who is sitting there, not gossiping, but gossiping about the ton, aren't going to acknowledge that Benedict is here with a woman, a widow of all people.
Yeah, somebody who's closer
and you know why it is? It's because Violet, as much as she tries to pretend she's not, she is a bit of a snob, and she's like, oh, this is a widow. This is just a fun thing for him. And so I'm not going to put effort into learning this person because I then have to like them and then they're going to separate. And I get it. I've had cousins who do that.
Truthfully, though, that's Violet's MO. She's done that with every kid.
Yes.
Every single one.
I hold great issue with Violet in the specific episode that we're going to record.
Yeah, because even with Daphne, she didn't want Daphne marrying Nigel. And she was a little more...
Or Prince Friedrich. She was very clearly against that match.
Yeah, and so she wasn't there going, oh, my daughter can cross-stitch and blah, blah, blah. Like, she wasn't all up in her daughter's biz when it wasn't the Duke.
At the hope of it being the Simon. She's inviting him. Yeah. She is making his favorite food. Mm-hmm. She's meddling. When it was Prince Friedrich, you can do your own thing.
She didn't get super friendly with Edwina. She wasn't the one talking to her. It was Daphne talking to her to find out about her.
There was no fuel made for Edwina.
And
which dog? It sounded like Daisy.
The one coming at me. She's like, I cleared a spot. Give me some of that broth. No, I'll pour some on your food later. But we never see her openly address Marina. Even at the engagement party, Colin is presenting stuff about her and Portia is talking. Violet will answer, Anthony will answer, but none of them are directly addressing her at all.
And I get it. They're trying to make it so that she only has a connection with the people that we know that they are meant to end up with. But this is like, they're writing her as a big character flaw with this.
Are they though? Or would this be the mature version of Hyacinth? Because Hyacinth points out who they should be with every episode, but Violet ignores the person they're not.
But you don't get to decide that for your children, and that's okay.
You don't. But I think
we'll talk about this part when we get up to it.
I don't think it's unintentional. I just think it's her vibes. But in this case, I do feel it's intentional because it's in her own home.
Yeah. And on that
it's borderline rude.
On that note, so you know how we're talking about the guest list? We don't even see what is their names? The ones who host Lord Fuller and Lady Fuller, who already like Benedict and Lady Tilley and are way more accepting in the ton from what I can tell because they're a little bit outcasty. I mean, they are recluses though, so I can kind of understand why they're maybe not there.
Except for the dancers being half naked. They were not a fan.
No. But, I mean, I can kind of understand. But I do wonder.
I can understand that because Lord Fuller's probably like, Lady Fuller's going to want.
Sorry, I had a brief intermittence of my father-in-law calling up and I interrupted Patty's train of thought.
Interrupted my funny now because it's no longer off the cuff. Anyways, I was saying Lord Fuller probably brought up the half naked because he knows he's like, Lady Fuller's going to want me to do that at home and I'm not about that life.
He's like, I can't lift her like that. She's been eating too much milk.
This body doesn't look like that anymore. It did in my prime. When I started collecting my books, but not now.
He paints angel wings on his back and he's like, look, same, right?
Right.
All right. So my thought is actually, right, this event is being hosted by a social outcast from last season where a lot of people have not moved past that yet. And it's to celebrate someone who has repeatedly been in the gossip magazines recently for her missteps in society, being Penelope. And granted, they are now getting married, so it kind of undoes some of the social shame. But also the fact that it's Portia's daughter, I think that's the reason why the people who are at this event are non-people that we know of. There's no, her name, I really dislike her, Lady Keswick. There's no There's no Araminta. There is none of the.
Well, you got to remember too. Colin knows those people. Colin witnessed those people bullying Penn, so I don't think he would have allowed them to come. No. And I think I said it in the last pod. You just edited them, so you'd be able to tell me. Because my brain is fried. But I took this small gathering as one, Kate being observant of Penn and knowing she's introverted and wouldn't want a bunch of eyes. Mm-hmm. And two, it's her first party. Her first event she's doing. And she was worried people wouldn't show up. So she didn't invite a lot of people. Mm-hmm. She wanted to, it's kind of like that not really admitting your insecurity, but
it's a soft
saying
launch.
like, I want it to be small and intimate is better than saying I'm afraid people aren't going to come.
Yeah, I invited people and they didn't show up. I think
she gets to make it seem exclusive.
It's a soft launch of her as viscountess. That's what it is.
Yes. And she was afraid people weren't going to come because of the whole thing. So she changed it to small and intimate to make it sound better.
So on that note, Lady Arnold compliments Kate on her ability to host a party. And I like that she is intuitive enough because I actually quite like Lady Tilley.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do I think that she's right for Benedict? No, but I also kind of get this real really classic movie.
Yeah, The Sound of Music.
No, I know her, but
it's kind of Greta Garbo.
And an older lady seducing a younger man. What's the movie?
The
most famous movie. The Graduate. I just kind of get like that older lady, wise, good friendship, but not endgame kind of vibes from her. Like she's a mentor more than an end game.
Well, and what we know from Benedict's book, I think even though Lady Tilley doesn't exist in the books, I think she works as his lead up season because she is so outspoken and she is like so herself and so empowering of women in general.
Mm-hmm.
That I think it's a great lead up to Sophie because Sophie
Peg spoons at his head and he takes it.
but Sophie looks diminutive and submissive and
yes,
and honestly using a culture where women are raised like the man is the head. Mm-hmm. And like a lot of Asian cultures are like that, but what I know about Korea, I watch Korean TV on Netflix. But I know like there's situations where if a husband and wife is working, the wife is expected one that quits their job for. So it gives off this whole diminutive and trying to like not sound racist, but she gives off diminutive, submissive and whatever. But we all know Sophie has a wild streak. She has some obstinance to her. She's very outspoken. And I think with Tilley being that introduction to him for the first time, like this is the first woman besides his own sisters who were always told like, nope, squash that. If you want to catch a man on the marriage mark, no, tone it down a little bit, Eloise, right? Mm-hmm. He's been taught women shouldn't be like that. Here he's met somebody who's very successful in her life being like that. So I think it is what is going to lead him to fall for Sophie because she's a little bit of what he's grown up with of what a genteel woman should be, but she's also kind of obstinate, and I'm not using any of the right vocabulary, but obstinate's a good one though.
Sorry, I was trying to Google about Korean women. And I came across this thread and one guy was like, why does it seem that all females that have moved, they were like, I was trying to receive information about what it was like to move to Korea and, what dating life and everything was like. He's like, but all of what I was told was all from a female perspective. And so many of the expats that I know are all females. They're like, why is that? And then he goes, but then on the flip side, when I was asking about Japan, I only got male perspectives. And someone's like, K-pop oppas versus anime waifus. Like oppas are like your dads, and then waifus are like anime characters you want to be your wives. It just made me laugh.
Good, you're not laughing at me because I really feel like I'm using the wrong ones. But Sophie is a bit of both worlds. And I think that's the whole...
I'm angry because you're right.
But I think that's the whole vibe of Benedict is he's got to have a little bit of both worlds, right? He's got to have submissive and dominant. He's got to have little
anyone who has ever
and
met
feminine.
Any Aussie woman ever, like we're not known to be submissive.
Gal pal, I'm not calling you out here. I'm talking about Sophie and Tilley.
No.
I know.
Sophie's
you and I are not.
No. Sophie's Australian. Like, I mean, Yeren Ha's half Australian, half Korean.
Yeren Ha's half Australian.
Sophie's not. No.
Show is not.
Hey. She stole the buckle.
Too spicy.
She stole the buckle.
Those TikToks?
She would have been exported over to Aussie as a criminal. Therefore,
she would have. And Araminta would have done it in a minute.
In a minute. So therefore, I'm claiming she knew
she's
Aussie was coming.
Australian.
She was pre-Australian, so she was integrating herself into the vibe before she got there, okay?
Our weeks are starting to come out. We were getting spicy with each other. But it reminds me of a TikTok. There's this girl I watch on TikTok. She's like work from home corporate, and she has her home office, and she comes in every day and she screams. And then it's like she always has Tom who calls whenever on Teams, and she's like, "What, Tom?" But
What?
she's always typing an email, and it's mean. And then she's like, "Nope, too spicy, too spicy, too spicy." And I'm like, yes.
Give me the spice. I want it all. Okay,
we were getting spicy. But
this was such a long tangent to say that I really like that Lainey Arnold.
We're gonna get comments again about how we don't sound like we're friends.
See, the confusing part is I don't even know what part was the spicy part. I'm like, where's the spice patty?
Well, I was like, gal pal, I'm not calling you out, and then you're like, but wait a minute.
No. I went, but wait a minute,
we got passionate.
Because Sophie's just, I'm claiming her. Don't take away her heritage, okay? I was calling out Sophie. Not me.
Oh yeah, I'm not taking away Year and Ha's culture at all.
Look, Sophie was just hardening herself for a life of criminalization in Australia.
Right. She has to, because Benedict, I think Benedict's
I've got to fight kangaroos and emus. Like the Australians lost a fight to emus. How vicious are they?
I think Benedict is too soft for 1817 Australia. Just saying.
He's 100% being beaten up by a kangaroo. He's going to get beaten up by the platypus.
He's going to get beaten up by a quokka.
He's like, oh, platypus is so cute. Scratch, scratch. Oh, it had poison. I'm dead. All right.
Oh, this quokka looks so nice. And it tears him up. He's like, oh. Even though they don't. They're like the happiest looking little ever.
When we all thought that Benedict was going to get chlamydia from his leisurely lifestyle, but it's actually from a koala. For those who don't know, many Australian koalas, I do not know why many of them host chlamydia. I'm not saying he's going to sleep with them. They can be on, it's a thing. Okay. I forget that not everyone knows Australians law.
He
so
survives the early 1800s swinger lifestyle only to get
taken out by
Australian animals.
This was the longest tangent. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Bridgerton. We're spicy today.
Honestly, I had a really stressful weekend and I just need to talk about koalas and chlamydia. Oh, okay. I'm just going to move on from Tilley because, no, I'm not. Tilley.
I love that Kate likes her though.
Yes. So that was my thing. Tilley compliments Kate. And I love that Kate says, I like her already. Kate very much knows the implication of Benedict introducing them. And Kate is now the head of the household. And it felt quite a bold move to introduce them, though it was far less scary. It was as what Kate is doing here, Benedict is soft launching her. So he's starting out with like the least scary of them all.
But also with Kate being like the social pariah of last season, and she's now the Viscountess with her insecurities.
She'll be more.
She's it kind of tells us who Tilley is in the ton without having to have somebody gossip and say it out loud.
Yes.
Because nobody else is approaching. No one else is approaching at this party.
Mm-hmm.
Not many people have approached her at the other parties either.
And she is
only the Fullers, really.
Absolutely stunning. So you would think that men would be vying for her to be their next wife or, replacement or whatever, have it be. But we don't see anyone approaching her.
But I think Benedict brings her to Kate. So, I mean, that's huge because he didn't even go introduce Tilley to Eloise first.
No, and that's his chosen. That's because
Anthony
Eloise is
Colin.
judgy.
Eloise is judgy.
And she's in a right mood today too.
I think this is a triangle. Surprise, Benedict's in a triangle. I think this is a triangle of people who know what somebody else needs. Like he knows Kate needs this first, like to feel family. He's doing it so she feels like she's part of the family.
That's a really good point because he does state, let me introduce you to my sister. Yes. And I think that's we brought up in the last episode about how you would refer to her as a sister-in-law. But I also wonder whether Benedict didn't introduce her to Eloise because Eloise was basically tied at the hip with Cressida for most of the evening. And he was like, haha, no, thank you.
Well, and not only that, I do think the family they're silent in their evaluations of people and who they like and who they don't. And I think
acknowledging them is acknowledging them. So they're like, if by not acknowledging, it's saying all I need to.
Cressida also did not get talked to by anyone. Bridgerton. She was only spoken to by Portia and Will and Alice and Lord Anderson in that little conversation. Violet you never saw her talking with Violet or anyone else, only Eloise. And it's because she invited herself, and it's because everybody knows she's bullied Penn in the past, because I'm sure Colin was like looking at the guest list going, no, no, yes, no, no, yes. Like he was like, no. And then she just shows up anyway. So,
and you know what?
The Bridgertons punish you kind of with the silent treatment. They just ignore it.
I think Kate would have sat there with him. Like, I know that this is my party to organize, but I want Penelope to feel comfortable. I'd like you to tell me who should not come.
Yeah, which is why I'm surprised. Like all the background characters, they're not even characters we've really seen
ever.
At the other. And what I find funny is when the scene goes into the house from outside for the engagement party, all the young people, the young background people are outside and all the old people are inside.
Yes, I have notes on that later on as well, because there's some weird things happening in this.
And those young people never show up. So I just think they were like, nah, I don't want to do this.
This is old. This is for the decrepit people. We're outies. All right. So let's move on to Francesca taking Lord John to approach Lady Danbury, Anthony, Violet, and Lord Anderson to officially introduce Lord John to Anthony, being the one that she needs to get approval from. I forgot
Lord Anderson was a part of that.
Yes. Which is kind of funny considering the whole scathing conversation that they just had up on the stairs, and like Lady Danbury dismissed herself from the conversation with the two of them, but then they ended up together downstairs anyway.
Well, she didn't walk away. She just said to the happy couple. So, and I think he's just hovering by Violet. And I think Violet's staying by Lady Danbury because she wants Lady Danbury's advice on Sir John. And Lord Anderson is just
I have so many notes on that. All right. So,
you keep saying you have all these notes. I'm kidding.
So
nobody's forgotten.
I tried to research this, and from what I can tell, it should have only been Kate who could facilitate such introductions, not Francesca, as she's an unmarried woman of the house. The introduction between Lord John and Anthony should have come from Kate or Violet. Mostly Kate, because she's now the head of the household. Unmarried women could not make introductions.
Yes, but they were already engaged. Just no one knew that yet.
Yes.
I mean, I'll say pre-engaged because
I was going to say he hadn't gotten permission from Anthony there yet, therefore they're not engaged.
But he said, is your brother at home?
Yes.
And she said yes. So the goal was to get introduced so that he could talk to him.
Yes. But what I was saying is that it should not have been Francesca who did the introducing.
No. And this whole thing, well, and she's still having to introduce him to Kate. And whatnot. So I think her goal was to walk up and have Violet take over, because Violet could have introduced him.
And that's the thing. So Violet looks super strained, like she's trying to smile and force it, but it looks creepy. Like she's like, ah. And I think she knows that her daughter is trying to push.
Creating a faux pas.
She is. And she's trying to push this thing that she needs to let happen in the proper avenues. And she's just jumping the gun. She's trying to do it at her brother's engagement. Like Francesca is just giddy with excitement. And the
Francesca is if Penelope and Colin had a baby. Because she's very introverted, but when she wants something, she goes hardcore for it. Like, the minute she decided she wanted to marry Sir John, she broke every rule. Like, even walking up to him on the street. So she is Chaos Colin in female form like that, but she's very introverted. So it comes off very strange in her behavior. And yes, Violet looks kind of embarrassed. Like,
Yeah.
all these people are
She
seeing my daughter.
She just does not, and I don't think she wants people to see them together because they're already acting like an engaged couple, and Violet does not want it to be so. So if they now separate or go their separate ways or whatever, now it's going to be a whole nother scandal on the ton, and she doesn't think it's going to work out. So I think she does not like people seeing them together.
Well, she let her invite him to the party. He's on the guest list if he's there. The only person we know who invited themselves is Cressida.
Kate did the invitations.
Yes.
And she wants to get in good with her siblings.
But this is the soft launch. So I think that guest list went through Colin, Violet,
and Anthony.
And I don't think Violet wanted to tell Francesca no, but I think her strained face here is mostly, you're not him. Like, what are you doing? And she knows she's supposed to step in and do it, but she's strained relationship with Francesca right now, so she doesn't want to piss Francesca off. So she kind of just lets it go, and it totally becomes a debacle. Poor John.
Well, and John says, I have heard nothing but the highest of praise for you, my lord, which is definitely a bit of a stretch considering that Fran essentially said that he moved out of the house at one point to get away from her pianoforte. Like, at no point has Francesca actually talked highly of her. She talks lovingly of him, but certainly not highly.
Well, and I think that, I mean, what we know about the neurospicy world, and if he's got a little bit of the tism too, that he has created scripts, so he knows he's supposed to compliment
this is the things I'm
Lord of
supposed
the
to
Manor.
say. Yeah.
So he found something to say that normally works in this situation, but it didn't work with Anthony because it's just not.
And then Anthony says, Anthony knows it too. He's like, you've not been speaking with my family then. And everyone laughs, but John looks confused by the joke. There's more than a skepticism going on there because he's like, 404 not found.
Yeah.
I don't understand the joke. Where is it? Why is
like
he's laughing
he's so literal. He just doesn't understand that it's funny. He's like, I do nothing but talk to your sister, and I've spoken with your mother. So what are you saying?
And Francesca, ever so keen for her family to like him, prompts John to tell them the amusing story that he was telling her the other day. And Fran, who hates all the voices in their house, sort of does John quite dirty here by introducing him to some of the most elite of the ton all at once. And the poor guy absolutely freezes and butchers the entire story. And you can tell he looks so upset with himself as well. Like, he fumbles because and I'm annoyed at Francesca at this because as someone who says that she struggles with the noise, and I don't mean that quite literally, but I do mean literally as well. But like figuratively, like being around so many people and all of this, she just threw the poor guy to the wolves and didn't give him. He is a prep guy. He needs to have his ducks in a row before he can do things like this. And she just threw him in.
Well, and I think, one, this shows how new this relationship is and how she doesn't fully know him yet. And which plays into Violet's
insecurities about the
questioning.
match.
Her questioning the match. But it is also, I love the juxtaposition of their relationship where they are compared to Colin and Penn, who have known each other forever. And Colin is the same. He needs prep time. He creates speeches and practices them, but he comes off sounding so practiced because he knows Penn. Like, even in a moment where, like when she's in distress and he says like the most amazing things to her off the cuff because he knows her so well. Whereas John and Francesca don't know each other well yet. They're intellectualizing romance, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like, Colin and Penn are pure feelings. Like, they've had the vibes and the feelings the whole time. They're just now admitting them to the world. And John and Francesca are intellectualizing romance. Like, even the story about the boots, when we finally do get to hear it, it's about, I hardly ever see what's right in front of my face, but I saw Francesca right away. Like, saw her, not vibes, not felt. I didn't feel anything. Like, I just recognized her value right up front. So I love the juxtaposition of it being Colin and Penn's engagement party. You're seeing a couple that is well suited, well matched, very much in love with each other. Like, and it's been suppressed for so long, they just can't help themselves. And then John and Francesca are walking around this party, like braining love, like everything is so intellectual and like, this is the step we're at. You have to meet my brother. This is, you know what I mean?
Anyone who has ever watched the IT Crowd and remembers the character Mo, John is a less funny Mo, but the Tism side is like bang on.
The thing is I think John is really funny, but you had to get to know him. Like,
yes,
later that whole quip about the plague when they're going to announce their engagement.
Yes,
like he really is a funny dude, and
it's just an understated funny. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so this is, as you said, Violet looks to Lady Danbury for support that he is the wrong match because of the way that he fumbled. And Danbury does not agree, though, and says that she thinks they are rather well matched. I love that because I think because Lady Danbury is a little bit more on the outside than Violet is, she can see it with clarity, whereas Violet is applying, as Francesca says herself before her own wedding, like she's applying what she thinks love should look like rather than just letting her daughter. I actually really, really dislike Violet in this interaction because as much as she has well intentions, lady, it is not your choice. And you can tell that Antony is somewhat...
and she's very similar to the Queen, like I've said before. They keep trying to create the love stories they had with these young people. And Violet was the wallflower, and Violet met Edmund, and Edmund brought her out into the ton. They, you know, they had a million kids, and like now she has to be good at talking to people. And she thinks that's what love is, that it's supposed to be somebody that helps you grow and become something different. But sometimes love is just as sweet when you're both similar to each other. Like John and Francesca remind me of Bingley and Jane from Pride and Prejudice. They're both introverted. They're both shy, and they're both super sweet and kind, but everybody knows like they're going to last. They're just so similar to each other.
Sorry.
Are you okay? You go down the wrong pipe?
I breathed in my lolly.
Oh.
My eyes are watering. I decided that it was time for new pod snack segment. And I busted out the Australian mint leaves. Happy place. Yeah, sort of hard gummy, but not hard, like just not like a wine one, like
a licorice,
sort of. So for any Aussies, Kiwis out there, Spotlight are the only place that I've for years been able to find mint leaves because Spotlight is an Australian store, so they sell them. They recently changed the recipe, and now they just taste like citric acid and not they're tart now and not minty at all. Don't do that. Don't change recipes. I will be angry and I will notice the difference.
So they're making them sour and not...
But they're called mint leaves. Like, sort your shit out, Spotlight, honestly.
Diary of the Tism. Just saying.
But at the lolly shop in New Zealand have recently, or I just recently discovered that they sell them there too. So I got myself a bag, very tentatively afraid that they were going to change the recipe too, but no, it is the original OG recipe, and I am happy once again. Okay, so I think that Antony is actually somewhat listening. Well, I don't think he is. Antony is somewhat listening to this, to his mother's conversation though, and seems very disapproving of his mother's meddling. You can hear him, like, if you watch him in this scene, he's like, like he's like making like little like disapproving huffs of his face. I love Jonathan. Oh my lord, Patty.
We missed Bridgerton.
We missed Bridgerton news. Would you like to take away the Bridgerton news of our hunkiest of hunks?
I realized we missed Bridgerton news when we were talking about Benedict and Tilley, and we had our first character look at Benedict this week. And I love it because normally the character says words like, I don't know who the persona is behind this Lady Whistledown, but blah, 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 right? Like they say something, it's supposed to give insight to their character. And Benedict, Luke Thompson, you are chef's kiss. This was the best character intro. Just that
he's so freaking cute. He's so
bashful,
cute.
humble, like little smile, looking down, like you just, that is complete Benedict. And it was 10 seconds of no word.
The lopsided grin, chef's
Yes.
kiss. Because that is
Thompson,
a straight up book thing.
I straight up want to Wayne's World you right now. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. Because that's the best intro ever. And since you brought up the other thing, you can,
Yes.
I figured I'd let you have that one.
Okay. To circle back to Benedict for 1 second, Sadia has done the Lord's work this week. Usually it's me deep diving into these weird and wacky things, but if you look at the, what do you call this? The little button on his cravat.
The pattern on the cravat, the whole pattern, the flowers is the pattern.
So the cravat has the pattern that resides from Korean royalty, which we thought was, Sadia found it and did all the research on it and posted it to our group. It was really, really cool. I love that she did that. I'm like, one of us.
I love
one of us.
Yes.
And then onto
you well, young Padawan.
Young Padawan. I would have a purple lightsaber, just saying. Like Mace Windu.
Mm-hmm.
What about yourself?
I would have purple just because I like purple.
Yeah.
Better be purple or blue. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, that could be a fun YouTube. What lightsaber color would each character be?
Oh, I'd have to look up.
I feel like Benedict would be a purple too.
Yep.
Jonathan Bailey has officially been named Sexiest Man Alive, which comes to a shock to no Bridgerton fan.
Yes. And I got another Bridgerton news, but it's social media analysis that I want to discuss with you. Okay. So yeah.
So Jonathan Bailey, I love that he is so humble that he is like laughing and giddy and thinks it is the most ridiculous thing in the world.
He flat out said it's absurd. I love it.
And he's like, you can't line me up against these men. Like, that's not fair. And it's like, what's not fair is having to look at you because it's not fair for someone to be that perfect, sir. Because it's not just how he looks. He is absolutely drop dead. So drop dead gorgeous that I'm making whole new words for his to describe.
Your mouth isn't working because he's just that hot.
Definitely not because I have mint leaves stuck in my teeth. He is absolutely gorgeous, but that's only the half of it. The other half of it is that he's humble and funny, and the way that he is with his co-stars, and he's likable and he's comedic and he's nerdy and he's like he is an all-rounder, and the way that he treats his fans, you can see like he actually respects them. It's not one of those like, no, I'm famous, I'm too famous for you to look at me. Like he's very the way that we saw that he treated his fans, and same as Luke Newton after their plays that they did. Jay Bailey played King Henry.
What?
King Henry? King George? King Henry. The play. Jonathan Bailey.
Oh, it was Richard II.
Richard II. It was a king. Okay, I got that much. He played Richard II, and like, you know, the way that he would treat his fans afterwards was also really lovely. Like, you could tell that he knew that a lot of them were there to see him. And I think the way that an actor and actress treats their fans says a lot about them personally.
Yes.
Okay, onto your part of the news.
So I want to call out TikToker, much like us, who looks at the analysis of things and got some new insight to Pall Mall. Carol Lee, you're doing this. Sorry, we're trying to get this tribute together. Carol Lee and I are on the same page. She's sending me all these pictures. I got it. So Cass on TikTok, I watched her TikTok today and I commented on it because I had, strong feeling, not in a bad way, but she noticed in the Pall Mall scene, guess what color mallet Benedict uses? Do you remember?
Blue?
No, it's a muted light purple. And what exact color is Sophie's Bridgerton uniform as a maid?
I saw something about the uniforms, about all the different uniforms, but I didn't.
Yeah, she wears purple, the light purple. It's the same color. She put the pictures up against each other. And Eloise's mallet, the mustard yellow, looks like Romney Hall. It's the same color as Romney Hall, Sir Philip's house. And she brought up like Edwina would have chosen pink because she loves pink, but she kind of did a double take, and then she chose the blue mallet, to align with the Bridgertons. Kate chose the mallet of death, and it looks like to pick on Anthony, but it's because like really she chose Anthony, right? She chose him in that moment. And he ended up with the pink mallet, but you could tell he really didn't want it, but he's protesting to everyone that he's fine with it. Who represents pink? Edwina. So he's saying he wants Edwina, but he really doesn't. And she said like Colin reluctantly chooses the light yellow, which is Pen, and he doesn't realize he likes her. And I was like, I commented I see it differently because a few frames before, we see Colin's hand on the mallets and he's talking to Eloise and he has his hand on the mustard yellow mallet. Like his hand is splayed over 3 of them, but it's like I think he tricked Eloise. Like he was going to go for a certain mallet, but because she needs to be able to beat her brothers, she wants to go for the mallet that she thinks is Colin's chosen mallet to put him at a disadvantage. But in the end, when they dive for the mallets and she gets the mallet she thought he wanted, he's actually goes for the light yellow. And I took this as, because this is season 2, where Eloise keeps taking Pen away from Colin when he's trying to talk to her, that he tricked Eloise to take a different mallet so he could have the Penelope mallet. So he stole, quote unquote, tricked and stole Penelope away from Eloise.
That's funny.
But yeah, Benedict's mallet is the same color purple as the Bridgerton maid uniforms that Sophie ends up wearing in his season.
That's really cool.
Pall Mall is literally a treasure trove of Easter eggs.
All right, so let's dive right back. So you can tell that Anthony is somewhat listening to his mother's conversation and seems disapproving of his mother's meddling. Lady Danbury does agree that the Queen is opposed to the match, which is when Anthony finally steps in and tells his mother to take the direct approach for once, and that he knows it is so unlike her to cajole her children. I think Anthony still has a lot of resentment towards his mother, that he butted heads with her so much over Daphne and then again with his own courtship. But then he does just his mother and admit that she rightly mocked him all last season for his choice, knowing that Edwina was not wrong. So he does acknowledge that, like, she gets it right occasionally, but like the way that she's approaching it is wrong.
She gets it. Yeah, she gets it right every time, but instead of being direct, she talks in riddle.
Yes.
And he's just like, just say what you mean.
Yeah.
Say what you mean and say it out loud. Like, don't run in circles.
No, I
right?
like that he didn't try to avoid his own, not guilt, like
accountability.
his own accountability for his own actions of how last season went and how it took him so long. But he is like saying, Mum, like, if you had just come to me directly and said what you were feeling, maybe if we had talked it out, I would have gotten there a lot faster. Like, I mean, he's stubborn. He wouldn't have. But it would have been a way better approach than what she did.
Anything his mother wanted, he kind of did the opposite of. I think a lot of Francesca. And I think the reason he's speaking here is because he has a soft spot for Francesca and he's defending her. Because they are very similar. The second Violet...
he's been through what Violet's doing to her now.
The second Violet says, I think you should do this, both of these kids seem to just do the opposite. And we got to remember, the whole reason Daphne even ended up in that debacle with Nigel Burbrook at all is because Violet was direct with Anthony. She was very direct, and he got butthurt. And so he went out and found Nigel Burbrook. So being direct hasn't worked for her either.
Well, if she were truly being direct, she would have said, you should have organized a match with one of your old friends. Simon, in fact, truly loved your sister. You would have convinced him to get married. But she truly wasn't being completely direct. Again, she instead was talking around what she actually wanted, which was Simon.
And like, ew, she literally told him that Edmund would have had it all secured. He would have had a conversation with one of his friends. Edmund was her father. His friends would be old enough to be Daphne's father.
I think I think what she meant was with one of their kids, like set up between their kids.
I hope so. Otherwise,
I don't think
about to crescent Daphne.
No, I don't think so. I think she meant like set up, hey, your kid is, you know, nice and from a good family, and we're nice and from a good family.
I like you. So is your kid looking for a wife this season?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, when you meet someone, you're like, oh, you're fantastic. Do you have any cousins like to, you know, marry off?
Yeah. I'd like to barbecue with you. Like, let's become family.
Yeah. Yeah. Like by homestay, I'm like, I've got some cousins who are around your age. We can get you a visa for New Zealand. You can stay here. I'm just trying to match Mama. Okay. So this is when Portia finally
up with some. Yeah.
This is when Portia finally catches Violet's eye, and she knows that Violet knows that she can avoid her no more. The time has come. Portia greets Violet as if she's like lifelong best friends with her. My bestie! Oh, I've missed you so much. She points out how they've been missing each other all evening, and Violet dismisses the notion, saying that host duties have been keeping her busy. Portia agrees, as if she's been hosting many parties, and Violet looks away awkwardly, like as if like, bitch, you got no friends to host.
Like you had one party. You had one party and you act like you know it all now.
Mm-hmm.
But Portia's going, I know who really is the host of this party. You're also lying to my face.
Mm-hmm. The battle of wills over here. But Violet is so gracefully saved by her son clinking his glass to toast. Patty, I know you're going to have a field day with this part. Would you like to tell the horse story?
Yes.
And not the dead horse this time.
Yes.
R.I.P.
Like
Basilio.
I would like to tell the horse story because this right here is
better.
It's one of the reasons I believe Colin's loved her forever, because he reminds her in the market of how, like, do you remember how we met? And he tells her the story. And now here he is telling everyone at this party. But is he telling it the same way? No. He wants it to be new and fresh for Pen, who's already heard the story. So he's telling it a different way.
I feel like this scene was just a straight open love letter to Pen.
Yes. And he's doing it because the only time he said he loved her to her mother was in anger.
Yeah.
He was angry at her. And he had told Antony that he had feelings for her, but he didn't say, like, I love her. So this was him loving her loudly. This was from the book, this was his declaration about, like, I worship the ground she walks upon. He is telling the story of how they met again. And he says it in a way of, like, I tell you, stay in the mud, for you just might find your future wife.
And this sort of reminds me of the line where he says, perhaps I have always been. And this scene kind of tells me that he's been taking stock of his life. He's been taking stock of his life.
He's openly admitting he's had feelings for her since his butt was in the mud.
That's what I'm saying. He's been taking stock of his life and all the times where he felt something and tried to dismiss it as something else.
Well, I kind of see it differently. We're saying the same thing, but I think it's coming off like you're still going on the not quite knew if he did or didn't, but it looks like he did. I'm saying he flat out knew. He fell in love with her the minute he fell off his horse, and he's telling the world now. I say stay in the mud, because if you do, you just might find your future wife. That's very telling. He's not saying, oh, looking back, I realized. No, he's saying stay in the mud. You're going to find your future wife. And we see that it's intended for what it is, because Kate and Antony both look at each other because they fell in love when their butts were in the mud. So it's complete scripting without Colin having to say, I have also loved this woman since the day I met her. Because we know it from Pen, because Pen has said it out loud, right? Like, she's always loved him. We've known this for 3 seasons, but we haven't seen Colin writing in a journal. We haven't seen Colin confiding in anyone. We've seen him act awkward with Marina, and the way he like has shifted his eyes. Like when he tells his mother, Marina's the only one that sees me or knows me, or whatever he says to her, and he shifts his eyes down, like, he's thinking of someone else and he just can't say the name. But now he gets to. They're engaged. He gets to tell the whole world, I have loved this woman since the day I clapped eyes on her. To quote
this scene felt
Lori from Little Women 1994. I have loved you since I've clapped eyes on you.
This scene just feels so intimate somehow when he refers to her as Miss Featherington, and then he gives her this look when he goes, Pen.
He bends his head down and he kind of looks up at her, like through his lashes.
Yes, and it's somehow intimate. Like, it felt so, and it was like, I feel like he put every ounce of she is mine and I am hers. I love her and I always have loved her into that one word, Pen. My Pen.
Yes, he has written this speech for everyone else, but the second he starts telling this speech, she's the only person in the room. When he first says, ding, 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 I have something to say, whatever, he kind of addresses everyone, but the second he says Miss Featherington, he never, like, all of his attention is on her. He wants her reaction. He wants her to see, because I think when she
He wants
asked
to
him,
love
"Are
her
you
loudly."
sure?" Yeah, when she asked him, "Are you sure?" Like, he hasn't had the chance to tell her, "I've loved you forever."
Mm-hmm.
And this is his church moment. Like, she tells him in the church, this is his church moment. I've always loved you. Always. I've always loved you. But he's saying it through story because he's a writer. And he says, you know, and I love the way he says this story, because it's like he's giving all these old people in the room. There's nobody their age but them and Cressida and Eloise. He's telling all these old people, if you fall off your horse and land in the mud, stay in the mud. You just might find your future wife.
If they fall off their horse and fall in the mud, they gonna call a doctor because they broke a hip.
They're going to hospital. Yeah.
I love that Penelope, who has been treated as an afterthought and almost a shame in her own household, like she has, I don't think ever once in her life felt like her mum was proud of her, because
no,
intelligence is not something to be proud of. Beauty is something to be proud of.
And even when her mom speaks here and she tries to talk like she's proud of her, it is so self-serving and so disingenuous that it just is embarrassing to Penelope.
Yes.
Like, I'm so mad that Colin gives this beautiful speech and it's
just ruined
all the things, and Eloise and Portia ripped it. It's ripped.
Nothing that Penelope nothing that Penelope ever, like, nothing can ever just be a perfect moment for her. Like, something always has to interrupt it or go wrong. Or
and why is it when these three people are in a room and all trying to talk about Penelope that it just gets awkward? This scene mirrors to me like the Lady Whistledown reveal where Cressida found me out and how are we going to fix this? And how they all band together. Like, these are her three most important people, I guess.
Yeah. And
in this moment, none of them are on the same page. But it's seriously Penelope's worst nightmare. It just gets worse and worse. But yeah, I love this speech, and the telling of this story to me is so hard. I want to say, I think it's
Sarah appreciated my sausage gravy, and she was laughing too.
Oh, you were cracking me up about the sausage gravy. We're truncating. Anyways, this story telling of when they first met, and I think openly admitting that he's loved her from day one, in my opinion. I will keep saying that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And if you don't agree with me, that's fine. Not you, everyone. But
spicy.
To me, I think, though, that I almost like this telling of their first meeting story better than the confession in the carriage, because that was desperate almost.
Yeah,
there was desperation to it, whereas this is just sweet and loving. And this almost, to me, instead of feeling like an engagement toast, feels like a 50th anniversary
you know what
kind
this
of
like?
speech.
It feels like healing from I have loved you forever. I know, like, and it may be uncomfortable.
Yes.
Like, this was the healing moment from that in the books.
Yeah.
And it felt like the first time that anyone has ever loudly and proudly said, I love this woman. She is mine. I am ecstatic. She is not a condolence. She is the person I chose, and I'm so lucky to have her. And like, she is the creme de la creme. And I think Penelope absolutely needed that in her life, as someone to finally out loud love her and be proud of her and everything that she is, her intelligence, beauty, all the things that she has been overlooked from the Ton, which is what happens in the book. He's like, I cannot believe that anyone else in the Ton hasn't seen just how beautiful she is. And this feels like that moment where he's like, I can't believe how lucky I am. I am so lucky that no one else managed to work to figure this out before I did, because like I took so long, they took even longer. I'm so lucky that no one else, well, Debling, but you know, for wrong intentions.
Debling did not put
for
a
wrong
ring
intentions.
On it.
That's what I'm saying. Like he figured something out, but not Penelope.
He figured Penelope was not ever going to get any other offers, and he was going to get an estate manager for cheap. That's what Debling.
Well, and so, like, for starters, before we even get into Eloise's speech, like, the fact that Colin is telling the most beautiful speech and Eloise's faces are just annoying me. Like, I just want to slap her in this moment. Like, control your face. Your bitch is showing.
Yes, your face said way more than your lips did.
Just let them be happy, damn it.
Well, and the thing is we got to remember when she walks up to Penn earlier and she says, either my brother is the most understanding person alive, or you haven't told him.
Mm-hmm.
And she says the quiet part out loud. She only thinks about herself. She's
Yes.
like, the thing is when he figures this out, he's going to know I didn't tell him. She doesn't want him mad at her.
Yes.
And this whole scene where he's telling the most beautiful, loving story that she was probably present for, instead of acknowledging, like,
well, from the book, she
being,
wasn't present for it.
I know, but I mean, in the show, we don't know. Yeah. Like, we don't know. She did meet Colin first, she says, so maybe she wasn't there, but she still has witnessed them since this time. And she just can't bring herself to acknowledge that they love each other. It's like she doesn't want it to happen. And much like she says, I don't understand how people don't think the way I do. Like, it's like, because I'm saying like way too much, because
I say all the time,
because she doesn't want it. She's trying to change history. She's like, they don't love each other because I say they don't love each other. You know what I mean? Like, you're such a party pooper, Eloise.
Well, and I sort of feel like the next line he says he will never take a single day for granted with her. And again, I think it harkens back to that moment where he says, like, my only foolishness this time was not realizing it sooner. I think this is him saying, I took for granted that she could have been taken away by someone else and that I could never undo this. And I took for granted that I thought I had more time to get my life in order to be the right man for her. I took too much for granted. So this is him saying, I will never do that again. I know exactly your worth. I know that you accept me as I am in today's state, and you don't expect me to be anything more, to love me for who I am, the way that I love you for the way that you are.
Yes, he was spending too much time trying to become the perfect suitor for her, that he lost a lot of time, that he could have just walked up to her and proposed in season 1, and this girl would have said yes, and they could have figured it out. But he thought he had to present her, because he had her on a pedestal too. Let's be real. Like, Pen is the cleverest. Pen is the bravest. So he needed to be perfect for her. And she didn't need or want perfect. She wanted Colin right now. Like, she likes that you're growing and that you're giving the effort, but you're also denying her. Like, he realized he denied her the potential of, because I mean, think of how different Penelope's last few years would have been if he would have chosen her in the beginning, you know? Like, I think he truly feels like a lot of what she's gone through in the ton is a result of him not laying his claim when he should have, and
getting her out of that situation.
Yeah, this is part of what is like his penance in a way. Yeah. Like, I'm going to love her super loudly. Penance. Nobody's going to question it. Nobody's going to question it ever again because I made mistakes. I'm rectifying. But Pen looks like her skin is itching and scratching, and she wants to jump out of it.
Yeah, I think for
so
two parts. One, because she loves them so much, and I think it's so new for her to accept love, and she can't accept it truly, because when you're in a fight or flight mode, which she has been ever since the tick 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 tick, no matter what anyone says to you, you can't get past that moment. Like, so every good thing that's happened to her now is tainted by this threat that Eloise is looming over her, which is seen by this next scene where Eloise then throws in her 2 cents just to be a bitch.
Every good thing that's ever happened to Pen has gotten tainted by something negative coming right behind it. And I'm talking her whole life. Yeah. Like, you know, everything looks like it's started. Her parent, like, she finally gets back into the ton. Daphne invites him to her party. Then she finds out Colin is traveling. Then they come home and find out, or I'm mixing stuff up, but they found out that her dad was passed. And then all the good things that happened with Colin in season 2, only to fight with her best friend and then overhear him say what he said. Like, every time that girl gets a chance to get giddy, she's even here. Colin's saying all these beautiful things. She knows the ball's going to drop. And as soon as Eloise opens her mouth and then her mom opens her mouth, you can just see her face like,
yeah. So this is when Eloise starts her own speech with, congratulations to you both. Here is to truly knowing each other completely before the clock runs out. And her creepy smile is really unhinged. Like, I do think that part of her anger is just misplaced jealousy. And I think it's also the fact that she wants to be back in good with Penelope, but she doesn't know how to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, he's taking something away from me. He's taking my toy.
Yes.
I wasn't done playing with it yet. I just placed it down for a few moments and you thought you could take it.
Exactly.
But
I think,
sorry, you go.
no, I think that a lot of this is jealousy.
Yeah. And I hate just how petty and vindictive this is. And while I agree that Colin should know, at this point, I feel like she's just being cruel. Like it feels like she's getting joy from lording this over Penelope. And Violet picks up on it too, which is why I'm surprised that she never calls her daughter out for it, especially as the barb is so awkwardly in public, making everyone aware that there is something wrong. Like, she was airing her dirty laundry right in front of everyone in the town. And granted, there was no one, not meaningful, but like meaningful in the way of like who would spread the gossip outside. Like, the old people are probably too old to even hear the barb or understand what's going on. So like, but I just cannot believe that Violet is so openly seeing Eloise barbing at Penelope on her engagement night and Violet doesn't step in. Like, it takes...
She did. She gave her mom eyes.
I know, but it wasn't enough. Like, she like, we don't see her going up.
She didn't want to cause a scene. And she was telling Eloise, fix this. And Eloise was
wrapped
like...
up. She was too wrapped up in her own little love fest to actually go and deal with her own children. At that moment, she should have waited for Eloise to do her speech, pulled her aside to another room and says, what the hell is going on with you two? This is your brother and your sister-to-be's engagement party. What do you think that you're doing causing a scene?
Her not wanting to get involved with Eloise this season because of...
It's been a misstep, an absolute
what
misstep.
happened last season. Yes. And I think it's like... I think she wrote Eloise off like Benedict because she's just letting Benedict run amok too.
Mm-hmm.
I hope she has a conversation with Benedict next season, and that's kind of what leads him to where he ends up. Because she really has taken a step back, and it's like, you love Pen.
Yeah.
You've always admired Pen. You just said she's the most extraordinary young woman, and you've taught your son to never let anybody talk to a lady like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he has stepped up to Cressida. He has stepped up to her own mother,
mm-hmm.
talking to her like that. And now he has to save the day because you're not chastising her for speaking to her friend like that. Like,
mm-hmm.
if Violet would have stepped in when she should have, months before,
mm-hmm.
Eloise would have never been acting like this in front of people.
No matter how you feel towards someone, to do something like that so publicly is not okay in my eyes. Like, it was really...
But where did Penelope, and I'm saying this in quotes, guys, if I never record this for YouTube, where in, well, I am recording it, but if it never makes it to video, who knows? Where did Pen officially out Eloise? Where did the whistle down get read? Where was Eloise standing when she got outed by Pen in public in front of everyone? Well, everyone meaning the family, because
was it her brother's engaged? No.
It was the ball, the Bridgerton ball, standing right where they were standing currently.
Mm-hmm.
Right where they're standing in this engagement party is where Eloise got hurt. I mean, she didn't know it was her friend yet. She found out later. But that's where that feeling came from. And I think part of her doing this, like, no, you're not going to stand in my house where you ruined my life and now get everything you ever wanted. I see it kind of as like vindictiveness. Like, she's like, no, this isn't going to be perfect for you. I'm not going to let it happen.
It was vindictive and I hated it. So her mom does give her eyes at that point. She then tries to awkwardly cover it up because she realizes, oh, I let my bitch show just a little too much.
The clock of life. The clock of life, you know.
Yes. So then she says,
so you're talking about my death at my engagement party. Thanks.
It ticks Russell to your good health before sculling her drink, further proving that Colin was aware that Penelope's pregnancy was a possibility because Eloise, who was unwed, sculled down that wine. And we know it's wine because you don't scull down a drink that aggressively unless it's alcohol.
No, and we also know in season 2, think about how much Colin was drinking, and he drank heavily in season 3 up until the night of the stag party. Eloise, who we've never seen a drink in her hand in any other season, she sculls down this drink, and then at Francesca's wedding, when they go to do the duet. Violet hands her drink. She pours it into her drink. Like she's found alcohol. She's much like her brothers in that, like, she drinks way more than any of her sisters. Like,
yeah. So I definitely think that this is also like a little nod to tell us Penelope is drinking juice.
Lemon
juice. Same.
And Colin brought her lemonade. He is not handing her.
No. For a very good reason. So that was just one little tidbit that I kind of noticed with that toasting. Then in a very Freaky Friday kind of a moment, which goes from awkward to worse, Portia chimes in with her speech about how proud she is of Penelope. But this is basically just a advertisement of Featheringtons are great. You should align yourself with the Featheringtons. It felt like propaganda and not like a speech for her daughter.
No, I felt like, in season 2, when Eloise said she felt like a prize heifer trussed up for auction, I felt like this was Portia going, this is my prize heifer. Like, look, the connection of the season. Like, she is not praising Penelope so much as look at what she did for me and our family.
She makes sure to toast to the Bridgerton Featherington union, tying her to the name and influence of the Bridgertons. It's like a, hey team, remember who I'm married to when you come knocking on my door trying to lynch me. Like, remember this tie. It was almost like a threat to the ton of I carry their name now too.
Yeah, this was not the first time, and it's not the last time, because she does it when they're walking in the park, where she equates this union for Penelope as her own. I want all eyes on us, our nuptials, our union. She's kind of icky living vicariously through Pen.
Yes.
But not in the way of love. Like, I think she had a love match that didn't go anywhere, but she's also seeing the security of it all, the save us from Dundas and all this stuff, that she's pretending this is her win.
Yes.
She had nothing to do with it.
I absolutely love Benedict's commentary, because he is just Benedict is perfection. He says he doesn't know whether this party needs stronger drinks or weaker ones because everyone is acting so unhinged. He's like, I don't know what's happening right now. Is there something wrong with the wine? Maybe there should be something wrong with the wine. I don't know what's going to make things better or worse at this point.
Did somebody spike the wine?
with some opioids from Greece.
Colin, did you put that tea in this wine?
And Kate knows it too, because she hurriedly rushes in before anyone else can make things any more weird, and toasts and says that it's time for cake and charades in the drawing room. And I think that's kind of where we're going to leave off, because I have 20 minutes to go pick up my son. So I thought that ending with charades is probably a good place.
Yeah, because we're going to talk a lot about charades and the different charades that were done. All those words mean something.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this is a good place to stop.
Yes. Because I still haven't done my notes on the specific clues that were given. And I do think that they chose things very specifically and pointedly, especially the friendship one, obviously.
But I just want to say, like, Colin wants Pen to be happy, and he doesn't understand why she's not here. But when he walks up and takes her arm, she acts like she's being led to the guillotine.
And not just her though, Cressida as well. Like, I think that Eloise doing the speech that she did kind of made Cressida aware of the fact that she is still alone in life, and that her friend does not actually give two craps about her plight, and that she is still just completely wrapped up in this Penelope drama that, like, oh, your brother marrying your ex-best friend is the worst thing in your life. I'm about to get married off to an old decrepit man who wants to have sex with me at least 4 to 5 times, and probably some practice runs in there as well. And I'm going to get to go no parties, and I'm going to be dressed in solemn colors. My life is worse than yours. Like, calm yourself, woman.
Well, and I don't disagree. I just saw it differently, where because Eloise was so passionate about it and she was so angry and everything, that it showed how much she still centered Penelope.
Mm-hmm.
And to the point where Cressida this is a circle of people.
Mm-hmm.
This is family surrounding this couple while this speech is going on.
Yeah.
But Cressida was pushed out to the outskirts. Like, she is the wallflower in this party.
Yeah.
She is up against the wall like Pen used to be at the.
Mm-hmm.
So Cressida's feeling that, like, my friend who, I came to for comfort Now, granted, she invited herself to this party, so she brought it on herself, but she is seeing there's a thin line between love and hate. You can say you hate someone, but if it's super passionate, you might love them and you're just fighting your feelings. And that's what Eloise is doing. She wants to forgive her, but she doesn't know how. And she's mad that she's having this happy time and she can't be a part of it.
Yeah.
And Cressida's seeing all that. Like, yeah, she's not over Penn at all.
Yeah. And I think to that point is, if she's so passionate about that, but she's giving me such a lackluster response in her support for me.
Yeah. Because she's barely listening. She's not even looking at her when she's talking.
I think Cressida has realized that she is a placeholder in Eloise's life. And I think that is part of why she felt so emboldened to make such a choice that she does at the charades, because
desperation.
Like, well, not just that. She's like, well, if Eloise was truly the friend that she says that she is, or whatever, I wouldn't feel so desperate and I wouldn't do this to her at her family's engagement party. But I'm on my own, like my mother said. I do not have friends, like my mother said. It is all for one, like my mother said. I don't have a choice. So I think that Eloise's treatment of her definitely aided in what goes down.
Yeah. And I kind of think that Cressida showed up in the hopes, and I think this the next season, wink nudge, I think Cressida showed up at this party in the hopes of giving her desperate plea of what's going to happen to her, in the hopes that the Bridgertons would snatch her up and wrap her in their arms like they did Penelope all those years, and she wouldn't have to go home and she wouldn't have to go back to that. Like, I thought it came off to me like she showed up at this party hoping to never have the Bridgertons' house.
Yeah.
And we know that happened probably next someone.
Yes.
So
he wanted to be posy.
Well, the thing is if our theories are true about what might have been compared to what ended up getting written, because people were mad about C3, this plays into Cressida was intended to be posed because eventually she would have been removed.
I think that they changed it.
I think they changed it.
Anyway,
I think there's enough clues that say so. Yeah.
Before we start going into our conspiracy theories for today, gentle listeners, we will leave it there and continue on next week's episode, where we will have 1,000 more episodes roughly on the engagement party. If you have anything in particular you would like us to cover, or any Bridgerton knowledge you would like to share, please head to our Facebook page, The Ladies Bridgerton Podcast. And if you're enjoying our podcast, please remember to click like, subscribe, and leave comments wherever you are listening. Lilacs!
And if you would like to get content of us together, please consider donating to the Patty Going to New Zealand Fund for the second drop of Bridgerton Season 2.
You can find links all over our Facebook page for it.
All over our Facebook group. Also, if you go to Buy Me a Coffee, / I think our name officially on there is Tosh the Kiwi and Lady Patty, you'll find us. It's there. And we really appreciate everybody who's donated so far. And once again, thank you for listening to the musings of two mad tinfoil hat. I don't know what kind of material it would be in the 1800s, but tinfoil hat ladies.
Sprinkled with some spicy sauce.
Yeah, sprinkled with spice tonight.
Garlic. Yours. No. Yes.
Yours truly.
Yours truly. Yours truly, Tosh the Kiwi.
And Lady Patty.